Good evening, everybody. My name is Crystal Holloman, a digital reporter here at News 10. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to go on air with News 10 at 5 p.m. But first, we want to take you to our special report. The House has voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as the House Speaker in a vote of 216 to 210.
Steve Scalise was a name that you floated to potentially be Speaker. Where do things stand right now? If not McCarthy, then who?
Well, the stages of grief, I think, are in progress right now with some of my colleagues. I think there was a stage of denial, and I've certainly experienced a good amount of their anger, and now we appear to be headed toward bargaining. I think the world of Steve Scalise. I think he'd make a phenomenal speaker.
And has anyone spoken to you?
Are you afraid of getting expelled?
I'm afraid of $33 trillion in debt crushing the working people in my district. I'm afraid of the dollar losing its status as the global reserve currency. If they want to expel me, let me know when they have the vote.
Has anyone talked about that with you?
45 days left before we've got less than 45 days left before you have to pass a budget, which is something that you've been wanting to do. Doesn't this just completely paralyze the House? I mean, we could see 15 more rounds.
I don't think we will. I think Kevin McCarthy should take a hint. After 15 ballots to become Speaker, after 8 months of a failed speakership, and after removal in this historic manner, I think we should move on and find somebody else. What's paralyzed the House of Representatives has been the failure of Speaker McCarthy. What paralyzed the House of Representatives was not taking up appropriations bills. We left for a 6-week vacation while the appropriations process hung in the balance. And because I forced these people to take a few votes, you think I'm paralyzing the House of Representatives? I think the House of Representatives has been paralyzed for the last several decades as we've refused to pass a budget, as we've governed by continuing resolution and omnibus bill. So I think that this represents the ripping off of the Band-Aid, and that's what we need to do to get back on track.
Would you be cool? 200 Republicans.
What do you say to your colleagues who argue you don't have another name right now? You don't have someone else who could get 218 votes? What do you tell this man?
Well, I would tell them that for certain Kevin McCarthy can't get 218 votes, so let's try the next person.
So how do you
Would you be okay with McHenry? He's the pro tem, obviously.
There would have to be a real meeting of the minds there.
How do you pass something if there's
I'm sorry, someone else, you've had a
there's
question. I was going to let somebody else
Republicans?
ask a question.
Are you going to ask for a guarantee from whoever is quoted as a candidate for the next speaker for them to actually move the appropriations process along in the speed that satisfies you?
Yes.
Congressman, at this
So, will you be putting yourself forward for the speakership?
Absolutely not. I have no desire to be speaker.
How do you pass something like this? With all due respect, how do you pass
What's that? What's your question?
You have 200 Republicans.
I mean, what's the path forward? I know we've already asked about names, but what about Emmer and others?
I think the world of Tom Emmer. He'd make a great speaker.
Congressman, have you spoken with any of these? Have you spoken with Scalise? Have you spoken with Emmer?
I've spoken with him, but I'll probably keep our conversations between us.
What's
Congressman, are you going to require?
What was going through your head when those gavel down?
We got to move to the next step. You know, we are not at the end of this process. Okay, at most we're approaching halftime. We've got to be able to assemble a governing coalition. We have to build from a place of trust. The reason Kevin McCarthy went down today is because nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has made multiple contradictory promises, and when they all came due, he lost votes of people who maybe don't even ideologically agree with me on everything. Take, for example, my colleague from South Carolina, Ms. Mace. She has different views than I do on a variety of subjects, but what we had in common, Kevin McCarthy lied to all of us.
Congressman, hold on a second. You're saying that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. You're talking about, including yourself, about 7 Republicans compared to about 200 and about, some odd Republicans who actually do trust him. So can you kind of explain
Yes.
that here?
Well, as it turns out, getting 200 Republicans to trust you isn't enough to stay speaker.
Compared to 7 Republicans.
Have you spoken to former President Trump about this since the ousting? Was he supportive of what you were doing?
I have spoken to President Trump over the last several days. The ousting only occurred several minutes ago, so we haven't spoken during that time.
You're always working towards that.
Social that you didn't think this was a good idea. You didn't want to see Republicans fighting with other Republicans. How do you respond to the former president?
I would say that my conversations with the former president leave me with great confidence that I'm doing the right thing.
Did the former president call you today? Did the former president call you today?
who are concerned about the future of the conservative agenda and the House GOP.
I would say that the conservative agenda was being paralyzed by Speaker McCarthy. We hadn't even sent a subpoena to Hunter Biden. Our oversight was lackluster. Our spending priorities were misaligned. The top line budget was going to lead to more inflation, more debt, more challenges. So the best way to advance the conservative agenda is to move forward with a new speaker.
Are you going to require that any future
Are they talking to you?
allow?
Put your earpiece in. You've got to put your earpiece in.
Yes.
What other demands?
Talk to her. She's got her earpiece in.
Steve Scalise votes in line with Speaker McCarthy most of the time. Why should he want the job after
And
this?
let me know if I need to get out
That's
of
a
here.
question for him, I guess,
He's
not
already
me.
said he's uninterested. He's already said he's
I haven't heard him
uninterested.
say that.
No. He's already come out publicly.
Well, here's what I would say. Here's what I say. I think a lot of members are going to reflect on their thinking after this historic moment. I think anything that people have said before the McCarthy ouster is probably bearing less weight than the way people may be thinking about these questions after the McCarthy ouster.
Nobody endgame.
Comments about Steve Scalise yesterday and today. Will you yourself nominate Steve Scalise for Speaker?
Mr. Scalise stands with his rehabilitation and recovery, I would give him the deference to be able to decide whether or not he'd like to put himself forward as a candidate. But he'd be the type of person that I could see myself supporting. There are many people, though. I could see myself supporting Tom Emmer. I could see myself supporting Mike Johnson of Louisiana. I could see myself supporting Jody Arrington of Texas. I could see myself supporting Kevin Hurley of Oklahoma. And there are even people outside of the United States Congress, like Lee Zeldin, who are well thought of across every aspect of our conference. And I may give Lee Zeldin a call and see if he's interested in the gig.
Congressman,
He succeeded at pushing the House to move forward with the appropriations process that you wanted. He succeeded.
Thank you for that acknowledgement. Because I just heard on the floor a bunch of these McCarthy allies say, well, gosh, it's Kevin McCarthy who led us to this moment with single subject appropriations bills. And in fact, the only work we've gotten done has been with a political gun in the speaker's
So you've
head.
gotten that accomplished.
The former speaker, I should
You've gotten the speaker ousted. What's next?
No, next we got to elect a new speaker. Sorry, guys, I'm going to roll.
Are you running for governor of Florida in 2026?
No.
If no new support to get to 18, how long does this go on?
What do you say to Mr. Trump that says Hi, Allie. Hi, Allie.
I love Bug.
I missed the top of it.
Sweating. Yeah, we got some.
Hi, sorry.
Hey guys, do you want us to wrap up what Matt Gaetz said?
Battery?
I can't do anything with it right now. You gotta put it down.
All right, you can actually join our newscast right now on WILX.com/livestream, where we have this breaking news and a special report on Senator McCarthy being voted out as House Speaker. Thanks for watching.